If I was the kind of alien where if sunlight hit me, it would burn my skin off, I don't think I would put my slime pool in a room with a lot of fragile glass windows and then just paint over the windows. I think I would put my slime pool room in some kind of interior room with no windows, or perhaps if it did have windows, I would like reinforce them with something that couldn't be broken if a disgruntled person threw a rock through one, especially if I had a lot of enemies who would be safer if I was dead and whom I interrogate in the slime pool room. It's so weird to set up this new team of 3 characters and then kill 66% of them in the next scene. Like when it cut to their little makeshift graves, I laughed out loud because it felt like a comedy smash cut. Like, we're all a team, it's our last big job, smash cut to graves. Come here, Skippy. Skippy is going to help me demonstrate a death scene as seen in Solo. So, as you can see, I'm like cradling him as he lays dying. Are you crying yet? And Skippy goes, ugh. And that's it. Like they both just sighed and shrugged their heads back. I call that the whatever death. Like you're just kind of fed up with being alive. Anakin's mom did it too. Actually, what I think would be funniest is if they're having this whole conversation, Chewbacca's making his Wookiee sounds, and then Han's like, what's your name? And Chewbacca is like, Chewbacca. And then like that's the only time he speaks English in all of canon. He only speaks Wookiee from then on, but that is how Han learned his name. I have no mouth, and I must beep. The recruiter asks for Han's name. Han, for some reason, tells him his real name, and then the recruiter asks, Han what? Instead of making up a name, Han stares blankly, which prompts the recruiter to ask, who are your people? I appreciate that he worded this question as unnaturally as possible so it can be a super on-the-nose question about Han's identity. Han says that he has no people and apparently is unwilling to make up a last name because showing up to the counter with no papers and no last name is the best way to avoid being arrested. So the recruiter shrugs and goes, Han Solo. Han Solo, do you get it? He's named Han Solo because he's alone. Solo means alone, and canonically it has meant that he was alone this whole time. How many other people passed through that gate and got named Solo? Or some other cruel name relating to their personal baggage? Why would that even be the first word that guy thought of? Why not Hondo? Or Han Smith? Han alone? And Ben Solo. You mean to tell me that Ben Solo took his father's last name? His mother is a princess, and he inherited his father's last name, Solo, which is not even a real last name and just got made up by some guy at the airport and never changed. This Porg came out just a few months after the first Target Porg, and it looks mostly the same, but like, just different enough to confuse and unnerve you. Like waking up to everything in your house shifted an inch to the right, your family at breakfast, but something unfamiliar behind their eyes. This Porg exists only to gaslight me. 3 out of 10. Giant Porg. Huge. Gracious. Powerful. This Porg runs my house. This Porg is the boss of me. 11 out of 10. It looks like a chihuahua that somebody got from a backyard breeder, and like you can tell that it's been bred too small or that there was some inbreeding at some point in the family tree, and its eyes are just like popping out of its face. You carry this Porg around in your handbag and you're like, this is my teacup Porg. Her name is Bella and she's super well trained. The Porg like shakes all the time and yells a lot. Me as a Porg, fully movie accurate. 10 out of 10. Traumatized Porg. I'm pretty sure this is the Porg in the movie that watched Chewbacca eat its family, and his face is just like this now. It walks up to the waterfall of lava and just sticks its face through it. It just sticks its face into hot lava. Maybe this is why they went extinct. The lava just pours directly onto its big face, and the baryonyx just kind of recoils like, ouch, that's hot. It's hot on my face. Like it's boiling water, just like, ouch, that scalded me. And then it only hesitates for like 1 second and just tries it again. Obviously the sanctuary was a lie, so I'm just like, was there a real island? And like, who made the model? You commissioned the model? Like, why didn't you just show her a picture of any beach and be like, I found this island? Because she was clearly pretty willing to go along with whatever you told her. I don't know if the model was necessary. Maybe it was. Maybe Claire was like, it's not like he's gonna build a model of an island that doesn't exist to lie to me about a dinosaur sanctuary. I guess admittedly that would convince me. Why are they selling the dinosaurs? If you are evil and you only care about money, the best way to monetize your dinosaurs is, incidentally, to keep all the dinosaurs for yourself and charge people to come see them. Like in some kind of Jurassic Park. And if you control the dinosaur supply, you can charge whatever you want. There's a whole conversation about this in the first Jurassic Park. In a universe where dinosaur cloning is already a thing, it's only a matter of time before somebody figures out how you did it and starts also doing it. And if you have sold off all your dinosaurs, someone's gonna just go take a scraping of the dinosaur in their backyard, clone their own dinosaur. Now you're selling dinosaurs on a competitive dinosaur market, and the value of all of your dinosaurs is plummeting. They demonstrate how the Indoraptor works, and you bring out a gun. It's a device that looks like a large sniper rifle. And then you point it at your intended target with the laser sight on. And then instead of just pulling the trigger and shooting your target, you push a little button on the side and it makes like a high-pitched trilling sound, which is the signal for the huge dinosaur to run over and eat the thing that the laser was pointing at. You know, on one hand, I feel like if you have that kind of access to your victim, it's probably easier to just shoot them with a sniper rifle. But on the other hand, if you feel like purchasing a dinosaur, transporting the dinosaur to where your victim is, aiming your dinosaur aiming gun at your victim, sicking the dinosaur on them, watching them get eaten by the dinosaur at great personal risk to yourself, anybody else you care about on the scene, and then having to recapture the dinosaur afterward, like, that is one way to send a message. And instead of calling the police and dealing with it that way, he instead summons Eli to his room where he is bedridden. To his evil assistant, he's like, I just found out you're evil, and I'm really angry about it. Haven't told anybody yet. And I want you to walk across my room to the phone that I keep out of my reach on my phone cushion. And I want you to pick it up and call the police and turn yourself in. The phone is just over in the corner, like it's not even on a charging dock. It's just lying on the designated cushion that his phone lives on, like it's waiting for a ring bearer to carry it down the aisle. And of course, the assistant smothers him with his own phone pillow. Claire and Owen are trying to protect the little girl from the bad guy's thugs. And then the bad guy is like, she's not what you think she is. She's a clone. As if the revelation that a little girl is a clone will stop you from not wanting the little girl to be murdered by thugs. Okay, now I want to do my final takedown of this movie. You thought I was going in for it before? No. Imagine my other points were a velociraptor coming right for the movie, straight down the middle. And this point is the velociraptor popping in from the side is like dinosaur rabies, and it makes them crazy. Like they turn hyper aggressive for like a week and then they die of the illness. Even the herbivores, you could have brontosauruses attacking people with their big necks, or like a killer baby triceratops. The question shouldn't be, do dinosaurs have the same rights as other endangered species, and should we save them even though they went extinct before and it was God's plan? It should be, is life precious and worth saving even if we can make copies of things whenever we want to? And the answer is yes. And she's like, these dinosaurs are clones and I'm a clone and we do have the same rights as other endangered species. Which, like, thank you, that's applicable to daily life. Nice moral. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to take this phone call, and my half of the conversation's gonna sound really evil. Our main character runs to her bedroom as her family waits behind, I guess just huddling and waiting for death to come for them. That's the spirit. I was about to turn around when I felt a hand cover my mouth and an arm snake around my chest. Not in that way, you dirty readers. Tongue sticky, outy faced. Tell her everything is alright or I'll cut you. Don't think I won't. This is definitely one of the boys from One Direction. Everything's fine. I just tripped. Okay, thank God. Her mom was like really ready to believe that excuse on the night of the purge. I looked at the clock. 8 o'clock. We didn't play a game, but I listened to him talk for what felt like hours. I learned his name is Niall Horan. He has a knife and a gun with him, and he has killed 400 people. He likes the purge because he doesn't have to take care of the body. I kind of thought that his murders all happened on the purge. If he's just a normal criminal, why is this story even set during the purge? He could have just kidnapped her on any day. Oh good, chapter 3 begins with an all caps author's note that says, "Just so you know, she's 13 years old." I know. That's why I'm worried. He stood up from our spot on the floor and dug under the bed. "Where the hell do you keep your backpacks?" he half asked, half demanded. My parents' room." Weird question, weirder answer. So part of her fantasy is that the blonde boy from One Direction will break into her house and injure her entire family. "Don't cry, love. I didn't kill them, but I will if you disobey me again. Understood." It's just a period, it's not a question. Understood. Like to himself. She looked young, maybe 13. Must they keep reminding me of that? This room looked like a freaking schoolgirl's room, except for the 5 SOS. 5 Seconds of Summer, and Paramore posters outlining the walls. Wait, the room looked like a child's room except for the boy band posters? There was something about this girl that just made me want to hug her. What? Hug? But in Niall Horan, most wanted criminal everywhere, especially in the US and UK. 400 murders. I'm not gonna read that part. I killed teenagers, murdered families, strangled infants, and burnt down primary schools. And I want to hug this one girl? This one kid? What is wrong with me? My hand brushed the cold handle of my knife. But let's check in on the comments. 5 SOS. This is so heart-melting. Yes. Burn my school with my teachers in it. Okay, I think that's our sign that it's time to move on. So you want us to be a stereotypical boy band? That's just not us. Harry spoke up with a frown. I know what you're thinking. Why would 5 boys who have full hearts do something like that? Well, because the only way to stop management is to get rid of them. I really misread this. Apparently, this is actually a story about One Direction murdering their management team. Yes, 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 I'm so excited for this. Wow. It's honestly really sad that this has most likely happened IRL. Which part of it? I've decided that I need to tell your disapproving father about us, and the day to do it is right now on the one day of the year that murder is legal, and I'm going to do it naked. How could I possibly be so calm after losing the love of my life? That's just how it is now. People are always dying. I wish I could have stopped Jim, but I couldn't, and now there's nothing I can do. I'm sorry, Melanie. I thought he was an intruder. I didn't know he was up there. You always were too good for him. There will be someone else, Jim says. Jim needs to work on his apologies. How about we go watch the TV? My mother suggests, hoping to break some of the tension. Good luck. I'm an American, so I know that the only thing that scares Americans more than ghosts is foreign things that they don't understand. And this is both. Fill a bath/large basin with water, and then wait until 3 a.m. sharp. Some versions say that you do not have to wait until 3 a.m., but this is up to you. I like that you're going to all the trouble of cutting open a doll, filling it with your fingernails, floating it in a bathtub, and then the instructions are like, you can wait till 3 a.m., but who cares? There's nothing I like more than ambiguity in my dark necromancer rituals. To keep your doors and windows unlocked in case you unexpectedly run into some trouble. And your friends will be able to help you if they are outside your home. Okay, I have several things to say. First, since when are your friends here? What, they're just standing in the cold outside your dark house while you're in the bathroom stabbing a teddy bear? How did that conversation go? I mean, if you have friends over, why are you playing hide and seek alone? Just go play normal hide and seek. I mean, the instructions say if they're outside, but that's a big if for me. As soon as you do this, the corpse will suddenly shake. Pull the spear back, the corpse will begin to rise. The moment the corpse is on its feet, the fire will die, leaving you in the dark. Run. Why are we running now? We just went to all this trouble to bring someone back. I assume they're your friend. As soon as the corpse has risen, it will gain full control over its body. The dead do not like being woken, and they will likely attack. You may attempt to fight it, but the only way to kill the beast is a direct hit onto the area where the poison was placed. However, with such a primitive and flimsy weapon, you will have extreme difficulty doing it. You're the one that told me to bring a spear. Now they're like negging my spear. There are 2 other ways to escape the dead. The first is to simply leave the mile radius and escape. The body will be able to leave the radius, however, as it is not a barrier for him. Well, then why did you tell me? It will likely chase you for the rest of your life. Lindy hops on a train to leave, and as the train is pulling away, she goes,
Hunter?
Yeah?
You're a good friend.
Beast zone. And they're at dinner, and he's starting to be like a nice guy by this point in the story. So to the blind guy, he's like, hey, is there any kind of surgery that can fix your eyes? I want to help you.
Because I saw, like, every doctor in the country.
Miracle only, but thanks.
At this point, I thought he would turn and be like, hey, Zola, who's also sitting right here. Is there something my stacks of money could do to help you see your children? But they just kind of changed the topic. Sorry, Zola. But I did like that it made me go on this mental tangent of like, what if in The Real Beauty and the Beast, Belle had just fallen in love with Lumiere, and Lumiere himself is trying to discourage it because he wants to break the curse, but like, the heart wants what it wants. And she's like telling the Beast all about it and saying what a good guy Lumiere is. She keeps saying things like, I know he's a candlestick, but I love him for what's on the inside. And the time limit runs out, and Belle chooses to move into the castle full time, and she marries Lumiere, who is still permanently a candlestick, and the Beast is just forced to watch their happiness from a middle distance for the rest of his days. So they acquired clips that are like the unscored version with just the dialogue and the sounds. But it's weird if it's silent. So to compensate, they attempted to score these clips with the game's built-in music. And since it's a cheap game, they have like 3 songs to choose from. Quirky sitcom backing track.
Or did they come out because that is what you meant?
No.
Who are you?
Spooky horror sounds.
Can you imagine that love?
And generic club music.
Give me and my brother our money.
None of them work for any of the scenes they're used in, and it makes them amazing to watch. Anyway, you're probably like, Jenny, why did you put this bullet point here? Why wasn't it higher on the list? Why didn't you just tell us about this when you told us about the first ending? And that's because that Wii game I just told you about, I just wanted you to know that the Wii game had this ending.
I'll go get help.
No.
Oh, but you're hurt.
I didn't feel it. I don't feel a thing.
Please, let me get help.
No.
This is the weirdest, funniest, boringest part of the show and doesn't match any of the other parts. Oh, also, if you want to play the Paranormal Home Inspector's drinking game, you need to take a drink every time Brian identifies that a door has not been installed correctly. It's like every show.
We're gonna go upstairs and have a look at closet door.
Door at the top of the stairs is an easy one. It's not level to begin with because the floor is shifted.
The doors in this house are not hung properly.
Close one door, the other one opens. They're only held on by magnets.
These old latches also never latch properly. They're having problems with the door opening on its own. I can see right away that it's not really installed properly, is it?
Back door closing by itself is not installed properly.
With all that said, I think it is important to note that there is a difference between a compelling TV psychic and a poor TV psychic. It's all in the showmanship, their acting ability. How natural can they make it seem that they're having these revelations?
There's some dark energies. People have done some really bad things.
How well can you act like you're experiencing extreme emotions from being in haunted houses?
Oh my god. Goosebumps like a shot went right through my whole body. Don't show me.
Or look like you're talking to ghosts real time.
I'm getting more 3 syllables to a name. The spirit had me write on a piece of paper, and there was 3 lines. 3. I couldn't put a name, but it had 3 syllables.
Not to go too hard on Nadine, but I'm really not buying what she's selling.
Sing, sing, sing. Talk to me, baby. Soft and low.
I'm not even saying they transition to another segment. I'm saying in the middle of the investigation, while ghosts are manifesting and crazy things are happening on camera, Michelle just says, well, that's enough evidence for this house. Let's leave.
I think we got enough. We're gonna wrap up for the night and go through the audio and video.
We'll end the investigation because I think we definitely got quite a bit.
Yeah, I definitely think we got enough evidence.
I think we definitely have plenty. Had a long night, I'm tired, fed up, and that's it.
You're the boss.
I like this idea that with the existence of ghosts wholly unproven, you can just get enough evidence and be done. Well, this spirit is manifesting physically to us in amazing, unprecedented ways, but it's done 2 things now, so that should be enough. What if Michelle was a detective at a real crime scene? Like, well, we've got a bloody footprint and the murder weapon, so that should be more than enough. Let's pack it in. So Michelle hears this and is like, oh, clearly that's sleep paralysis. And you're like, oh, thank goodness. Like, she gets it. She's not going to make it a ghost thing. But then Michelle is like, sleep paralysis is a symptom of aliens.
Some people who have been experiencing abduction have reported that they experience sleep paralysis as well.
Wow.
Could alien beings be visiting Alex? Michelle continues her research into the matter.
Yeah, great, Michelle. Let me know what you come up with. And then there's an interlude of Michelle looking at the government files and confirming that there's been a rash of alien abductions in the area.
Michelle looked into government UFO files and made some startling discoveries.
I have just found 6 reports of UFO sightings in the government files.
This show is so odd. J.K. Rowling claimed on Twitter that she has had this backstory in mind for 20 years. You're a dirty liar, Joe. Look me in the eyes and tell me that you believed Nagini the snake was a circus woman in 1998. You know how she got the original idea for Harry Potter in a cafe, and she says she had to like grab a napkin and frantically write down her ideas? I like to think that if you see that original napkin, the only things on it are little boy wizard that lives in a cupboard and the snake is a Korean lady. And it doesn't make any sense that this woman is named Nagini. It would make more sense if this woman was named Susanna Chandler, and then 70 years from now, Voldemort finds a snake and he names it Nagini. Why would he know her real name? Like, I know he speaks Parseltongue, but unless Nagini is an easily translatable word in a dictionary, it's kind of hard to convey proper nouns through hissing noises. That's why snakes give such lousy driving direction. When Karma was a little boy, a white man fell in love with his mother, a happily married black woman, and decided to kidnap her. He put her under the Imperious Curse and married her, and then non-consensually had a child with her. I feel like there's a word for that. So that's what was missing from the magical adventures of Harry Potter. In Grindelwald's speech, he's like listing out all of the different terms for muggle. So he says muggle, no-mage, non-magique, which is the French word for no-mage. And I swear to God, one of the phrases he said was like, can't spell. The can't spells. Why would different countries even have different words for it? Like, and you're telling me that only England thought of a fun word? I mean, I get it. We have fries and they have chips, but those are both shorthand slang words that are easy to say. It's not like they call them chips and we call them potatoes which have been cut. At the end of the first movie, everyone's like, the evil wizard Grindelwald, and it's like, I don't know what he's done yet. What are the crimes of Grindelwald? They never told me. I mean, he assembles without a permit at the end. I don't know Wizarding Paris's laws about that. The fourth park is Animal Kingdom, and that one is the zoo. When it opened, they had a whole ad campaign about how it's not just a zoo, it's more than a zoo.
Not a zoo.
Disney's Animal Kingdom, it's many, many things. But remember, it's not a zoo!
But it's basically just a zoo. Moving on, Avatar 3. Why Avatar? I hope that's the real title of Avatar 3. Universal Studios, right across town, opens the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Disney had made an aggressive play for the theme park rights to Harry Potter, but ultimately J.K. Rowling went with Universal Studios because they were more willing to give her creative control. Legend has it that the point of contention with Disney was that J.K. Rowling said that she needed to have a full-size locomotive take guests into the park and then reverse down a 100-yard stretch of track to go pick up more guests. And Disney was like, that sounds asinine and pretty bad for crowd control. And Universal Studios was like, lady, we will build you whatever trains you want. Disney is like, we need to get these crowds back in our parks. And maybe they're a little bit like, we should just build that darn train. All of the lands at Disney are supposed to look and feel immersive, but the people working in them aren't in character. Like, if you go up to a cashier in Frontierland to buy a t-shirt, they're not going to ask you how many days ago you rode in on the wagon train. I mean, unfortunately. Kirsten's gonna ask the man if the drum show is happening. No? Is that a head shake? Oh no. It looks like he's delivering bad news. Yes? Nod your head enthusiastically, sir. Yeah, of course we're doing the drum show. Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's happening. When the performers initially came out, there wasn't like a crowd gathered, and they could see me like sitting there in the front row, clearly waiting for this show and like recording it and intently watching. So the performers kept kind of like making eye contact with me. But that was a great enhancement to the experience. I almost felt like it was just for me. And when it got to the interactive portion, they brought me a gourd to shake. I don't know if they were delicious or if it was just really hot out, but I give it a 4-star rating. Or as the Na'vi would say, 4 snatanhitsyip. I hope it's okay to eat this. It has been like a month since my trip. I don't see an expiration date on it. Oh, this is expired. Do it for the views, Jenny. It slowly dawned on me that there was not a single other soul wearing them. Like, this was a really outlandish thing I was wearing. It's Disney World. People actively wearing Mickey Mouse ears were casting quizzical looks at my Na'vi ears. That's how not in the cultural consciousness Avatar is. Like, I was walking around in Animal Kingdom, and people were looking at my head and thinking, why is she wearing ears? By announcing the lighting of the royal Christmas tree.
Let's celebrate with the lighting of the royal Christmas tree.
The late king hides important political documents in a Christmas ornament. Even this inexplicably gorgeous dive bar on what we're told is the wrong side of town is fully decked out for the holiday. The Christmas in this movie is off the charts. The characters can't do anything that's not at least a little Christmassy. There's a scene where our gang is investigating a shadowy puppet corporation that's been embezzling funds from the country and driving them to bankruptcy. But while they're doing it, they're on a laptop that's like set on a table in front of a beautiful Christmas tree. And then on the table around them are like cozy mugs of hot cocoa to investigate with. And the stars put on a show. This is delightful, and it's also our first hint at one of our themes of the series, which is deception and facades. Here we have the superficial appearance of a Christmas classic that we know well, but when we look closer, there's something off about it. If your reaction when I said all that was, wait, legal certificate of adoption? Why was this done legally? If you want to be a royal family and adopt a baby without anyone knowing, you're gonna have to buy that baby on the black market. The story follows almost an alternating scene-by-scene pattern of the characters encountering political unrest and then deciding to cheer themselves up with some kind of traditional Christmas activity.
The unions are calling for a nationwide strike in solidarity over unpaid wages on our work programs.
If all the infrastructure projects are happening in Aldovia through Aldovian companies, how can the country be losing so much money?
Oh my goodness, Richard!
Please, Your Majesty, I beg you, slower.
Dear royals, while I'm sure you're having a dandy Christmas at the palace, the real working people of Aldovia are suffering.
Simon spends most of his time in the second movie delivering quality one-liners.
Nothing could be finer than Christmas in a diner.
Would you like some coffee with that whiskey, Simon?
Not exactly Mr. Robot, are you? More like Mr. Slowbot.